Big poppin', money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me what the topic.
Yeah, what's poppin'? Welcome back to the bar. And if you are new here, welcome. Please have a seat, get comfy as you pour up with me. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell, select all so that you get notified whenever I do a video. And if you are a returning Mob Down Henny Gang member, yeah. Now let's get into this content. So, as we all know, Jay-Z was recently revealed to be Celebrity A in the Diddy SA case. However, Jay-Z is saying that that is not him. And since this case has come out, he has declared war on the attorney Tony Buzbee. Yes, honey, there is allegations out there that Jay-Z's legal team is out here paying people $1,000 for them to come forward if they have any lawsuits against the attorney Tony Buzbee, honey. And there happens to be one that we do have in our possession right now. But these two have been going at it back and forth in the legal docs. Child. It's been a whole lot of that's been going on. And I haven't been reporting every little bits and piece that has come out. I was waiting to see if there was going to be more, but it seems like there hasn't been any more, I guess, since yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be bringing you the back and forth law docs between Tony Buzbee and Jay-Z's attorneys. Oh, yes, honey. The shots are fired. Y'all grab y'all glasses. I know it's early in the morning. I got me a cup of coffee. Because it's going to be a long day because we got a lot of court docs that we're going to get into. And for those of y'all that feel like y'all missed the live, you didn't. This is a previously recorded video. Because this is how we're going to get some of this stuff out, baby. But without further ado, let's start getting into some of these court docs because it's a lot of reading that we got to get through. And yeah, baby, when I tell you these two, I don't think they know the meaning of playing fair. And we're going to start with this one because this is document 41, okay? And this is important for me to point out that this is document 41 because, baby, these things is about to go into numerical order because we are going to follow the story. You know how people be following the money? Baby, we following the story, okay? Let me get my screen, the one that I like, adjusted, and then I'm going to take this banner down because if you don't know by now that this is a previously recorded video, then, baby, you just not paying attention, okay? Now, we got to put our watermark up because we know how it go down in these internet streets. It goes down. It goes down. All right, so we're going to get this up off the stage. I'm going to slide a little bit over here because we got to get into these court docs, honey. All right, so it says this document was filed on December 9th, okay? And this is to the Honorable Annalisa Torres, Daniel Patrick, you know, the United States Courthouse, Pearl Street, New York, okay? All right, so this is from Jay-Z's team to the courts, and it says, Dear Honorable Judge Torres, we write on behalf of our client, Sean Carter, concerning the inflammatory allegations made against him in a recently filed amended complaint. Based on the meritless and frivolous accusations, Mr. Carter has filed a motion to deny the plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously this morning, okay? Due to the highly sensitive nature of this matter and intense media scrutiny it has generated, we respectfully request to be heard on an expedited basis. For the avoidance of doubt, Mr. Carter is entirely innocent. This is a shakedown. He is not mentioned, referenced, or implicated in any way in the criminal investigation of Mr. Combs. Baby, tell me that you are not affiliated without telling me that you are not affiliated with Sean Diddy Combs. He is neither a target nor a person of interest in that investigation. Child, tell them to disassociate you and distance you from the accused. Child. Adding to the urgency of this matter, Attorney Buzbee has orchestrated a months-long press campaign aimed at inflaming public opinion and escalating the events in real time on social media platforms. Every day in real time, Buzbee continues to amplify false narratives, exploiting the legal process to generate media attention and damage Mr. Carter's reputation. Now, wait a minute, because I don't recall him mentioning him every day. It was just recently that the Jigga Man was named in a case. It was not something that was going on all of this time, I don't recall. When I was ahead of my sound effect, and I'm going to leave that in there. So let's do it again. When he first came out with these allegations, Tony Buzbee claimed he had 120 cases. And he said that those cases were against Sean Diddy Combs. But he did say he wasn't afraid to name names. And it looks like that's what he's doing. Now, child, again, I don't know if Jay-Z is innocent or not. That's not what we are here for. I'm just here to report the news to you. But that right there seems a little bit of an inflammatory statement to make, that he's been going after him every day in social media. I have not seen that. Anywho, it goes on to say, this relentless campaign underscores the need for fast-tracking hearings to address these issues promptly and prevent further harm. Plaintiffs' request to proceed anonymously is both procedurally improper and unsupported by law. Now, wait a minute. I didn't know that going to court under Jane and John Doe's was not supported by the law. Because we've seen John and Jane Doe cases happen all of the time. In fact, Jay-Z filed a John Doe case against Tony Buzbee not too long ago. And I read that court doc to y'all. So if it's not supported by the law, then that means that Jay-Z and y'all, this law firm, Quinn Emanuel and whatever else, and Sullivan LLP, that means that y'all filed a John Doe lawsuit that is not supported by the law and that it is procedurally improper. So that would make your case whatever it is that you're trying to say this case is right now. Anyway, it says that Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 10A requires all parties to be named in their proceedings, reflecting the bedrock principle of transparency in judicial proceedings. Well, like I just said, Jay-Z and his law team have already filed a John Doe case against Tony Buzbee. So you're saying that there is a federal rule of civil procedure that requires all the parties to be named in the proceeding, reflecting the bedrock principle of transparency in the judicial system. So then, Jay-Z, put your name on your own case against Tony Buzbee. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Plaintiff has failed to demonstrate any compelling circumstances that would justify an extraordinary departure from this rule. Well, I would say going up against millionaire and billionaire moguls who have power players, privilege, and deep pockets, people that have gotten people blackballed, possibly unalived, exploded cars, allegedly stolen babies and all of that. I think that's enough for a person to go up underneath being anonymous with a lawsuit, don't you think? Because I do. Anyway, okay, the speculation and the unsubstantiated claims of harm presented by the plaintiff's counsel do not meet the stringent standards required by the Second Circuit and other federal courts to allow presumanity. Child, listen, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I will get the word. Pseudonymity. That's how you say it. Pseudonymity. All right. And if you don't know what that word means, give me a second. I will give you the definition of what pseudonymity means. Okay. The meaning of pseudonymity, it is used, the use of a different name from your real name, especially on something you have written. Pseudonymity, okay, is another word of saying anonymous. All right. So now we have learned something new today. Pseudonymity. Okay, that is the word. That is how you say it. Pseudonymity. Now let's proceed. Let's reread the sentence like we're in school. And we're going to pick up from unsubstantiated claims of harm presented by the plaintiff's counsel do not meet the stringent standards required by the Second Circuit and other federal courts to allow pseudonymity. Boom. Look at us learning. See, that's why y'all like it. That's why y'all like it here, because we be learning together. Furthermore, the plaintiff's allegations, coupled with the conduct of her counsel, Anthony Buzbee, they done called this man Anthony. Child, they said, Anthony, we are calling you out, Anthony, because Anthony is out here acting a damn fool on all of us, ain't he? Anywho, suggest a deliberate attempt to leverage the judicial process to generate unwarranted media attention and pressure Mr. Carter into a settlement. Now, we spoke about that. I told y'all he asked for a mediation, okay? He asked for a mediation, and Jay-Z's team called it blackmail, and all I'm going to say is there is nothing for y'all to mediate and mitigate about unless you are mediating and mitigating some coin, okay? You're mitigating coin. All right? You trying to mediate the money from his pocket into your client's pocket. We not done. Okay. All right. The misuse of the legal system undermines both its integrity and Mr. Carter's ability to defend himself effectively. It is critical that plaintiff's identity be disclosed so that Mr. Carter can investigate and respond to the claims fully and fairly. Now, we have heard this terminology, this verbiage, this language being used before, because this is the same thing that Diddy's lawyer was saying about all of these John and Jane Doe cases. And I feel like this, if Cassie and Little Rod and all these other people can come out and they can give their cases and say their names, I feel like the need for a John and Jane Doe case shouldn't even exist right now, because Diddy is locked up in Click City. So yes, I'm going to agree. Stop making them anonymous and just put it out there. Like, put it on the damn floor, because we tired of all of this. And while you at it, stop blocking names of people who are being accused in these cases and start putting their names out there, because I don't recall Cassie or Little Rod or any of the other accusers. Because, baby, there's about 10 of them, okay? There's about 10, maybe now 11 of them that we definitely can say their names. So, if they all named names, including celebrity names and all of that, why are these seemingly average, everyday people not naming names and putting names to their crimes? I'm just asking a question. Anywho, we further note that the timing of this filing coincides with ongoing media coverage of unrelated matters involving Mr. Combs's criminal trial, in which Mr. Buzbee does not represent victims, underscoring the prejudicial and retaliatory nature of the plaintiff's claims. The amended complaint appears designed not to seek justice, but rather to amplify unsubstantiated allegations and harm Mr. Carter's reputation by Anthony Buzbee. Okay. Allowing plaintiff to proceed anonymously would deny Mr. Carter the fundamental right to confront his accuser while simultaneously enabling plaintiff and her counsel to conduct trial by media. Given these circumstances, we respectfully urge the court to deny plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously and dismiss the complaint pursuant of Rule 12b-1. This is of the uttermost importance, and we request an expedited hearing to address these significant procedural and substantial issues. We are available at the court's earliest convenience to provide additional briefing to appear for a hearing on this matter. Respectfully, Jay-Z's attorney and Alex Spiro. Now, that is Jay-Z's response to his name being named in this suit when it first came out. And child, they wasn't done. Okay, they wasn't done because on December 10th, as y'all can see, this is document 42, okay, filed on December 10th, written on December 10th. Baby, they wasn't done. They had more to say, okay? They had more to say. And we're going to read. This is going to be a reading rainbow. So we're going to get into this next document because I know you're like me, like, what the heck else did y'all have to say after saying all of that? Y'all ain't even give Buzbee a chance to respond, but he did respond. But I'm not going into social media posts. I'm keeping it on the court docs. You feel me? I'm keeping it on the court docs. At least for right now, I'm keeping it on the court docs anyway. For the moment, we're here. So on December 8th of 2024, the plaintiff filed, again, this is to Judge Torres, an amended complaint naming my client, Sean Carter, as a defendant in the lawsuit. On December 9th, 2024, we filed a motion seeking to have the court decline to permit the plaintiff in this case to proceed anonymously. As noted in that motion, plaintiff's attorney, Anthony Buzbee, has engaged in a campaign to leverage unfounded and heinous allegations against celebrities to secure large settlements. He seeks neither justice nor peace for his victims. He seeks only to benefit himself. Child. On the afternoon of December 9th of 2024, after we had submitted the motion and accompanying exhibits, our officers received outreach via phone call and email from an individual who provided her name to us. Though wishes to remain anonymous, y'all out here saying he can't do things anonymously, but y'all still doing things anonymously. Child. This is not working out for me. Okay. They gonna keep her. Okay. Mary Henderson spoke with this woman who informed Miss Henderson that she had previously reached out to the Buzbee law firm with respect to allegations of trafficking and abuse unrelated to Mr. Combs or Mr. Carter. The Buzbee firm representative with whom she spoke asked the woman when she met Diddy, even though her account did not relate to Mr. Combs at all. Child, This is dirty. This is getting entertaining, y'all. The Buzbee firm representative, even though she never, okay, but members of the Buzbee firm encouraged this woman to pursue her claims anonymously, even though she did not have any interest in doing so. So they stacking the deck to try to get people to say that Diddy did it, just so that they could say that Diddy did it is what they saying he did. Lord, him, and mercy. When the woman raised wanting to talk to law enforcement, she was informed that it was not encouraged. After several outreaches, the woman again spoke with members of the Buzbee firm who she felt were pressuring her to making allegations of being bugged, held down, and physically assaulted, allegations that were not true. When the woman declined to adopt the version of events proposed by members of the Buzbee firm, she was summarily dropped as a client. So now they're saying that Buzbee's law firm is running around saying, if you don't change your stuff and say that Diddy did it, we ain't going to represent you because we need you to say that he did. Any glasses in the chat if y'all think that this is really what's going on. I don't know. I'm just here reporting. I don't know. Okay. Though the woman provided her identity to Miss Henderson, she wishes to remain unnamed at this time for fear of retaliation by the Buzbee firm. Now, isn't that why people are claiming to remain anonymous in these Diddy cases that we got going? Anywho, the information provided by this woman is in a declaration of Mary Henderson. See, attached here too as Exhibit A. This information, which came to Quinn Emanuel unsolicited, is further evidence in support of Mr. Carter's right to thoroughly investigate, test, and respond to the spurious allegations that have been leveled against him. We respectfully request that the court consider this additional information, which was received by Quinn Emanuel only after the filing of yesterday's motion was complete in connection with the motion to deny the plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously. Okay, this is the declaration of Marie Henderson, and she's basically saying, she's an associate of the Quinn law firm, and that on December 9th, she spoke with a female adult resident of the state of Texas whose name is known to me. Another adult whose full name is known to me was a witness to the conversation. So they are moving under amnesty. The information contained in the declaration is an accurate summary of the information provided to me by this woman on December 9th, namely that in early October of 2024, this woman saw coverage of Anthony Buzbee's press conference regarding allegations of trafficking and abuse by Sean Combs and submitted a brief outline of trafficking exploitation events via a Buzbee law firm website online submission. The woman spoke with 3 members of Mr. Buzbee's law firm and provided details regarding her experiences as a victim of trafficking by celebrities entirely unrelated to Mr. Combs or Mr. Carter. I couldn't even hit my ring. Now we know that Diddy didn't do it by himself, but I'm just saying, to hear somebody come out and say that Diddy did it and somebody else is doing it too, child, but I guess ain't nobody gonna pick up on that. You know what? We a little too quiet over here. And yes, while I am recording, this is a little too quiet. Y'all hearing the wind blow in the background and all of that. Let's put our music on, please. Yeah, we need a little music going in the background. Okay. After detailing her experience to attorneys at Mr. Buzbee's firm, he pressed for a connection to Mr. Combs, asking, at what point did you meet Diddy, even though she made it clear that her case was unrelated to Mr. Combs. Mr. Buzbee's firm pressed this woman to pursue a civil case as an anonymous doe plaintiff, even though she never raised proceeding anonymously as a possibility and questioned doing so after it was heavily suggested to remain doing so, even though she was not interested in remaining anonymous at this time. So this woman never wanted to be anonymous. She wanted to come forward. She wanted to name names. She wanted to bring her own suit against all of these people that she's claiming were also celebrity trafficking, celebrities who were trafficking people. And instead, he's not interested in that case. He's still trying to connect this case to Diddy's case. Boy. When the woman brought up wanting to go to law enforcement with her allegations, members of the Buzbee firm informed her that going to law enforcement was not encouraged. What? Why wouldn't it be? Because you're trying to get her to lie? Oh, okay. After not hearing from Mr. Buzbee, and that's allegedly, Buzbee's law firm for a week, during which this woman tried to contact the firm multiple times. She spoke again with a member of the firm who pressed her to confirm false details regarding her experiences as a victim, including that she was rugged, held down, pushed, and physically assaulted. She felt directed and coached by Mr. Buzbee's firm to say that someone held her down and put rugs in her mouth, and when that was not her experience, she felt forced to lie. When the woman made clear she was unwilling to adapt to the narrative, Mr. Buzbee's firm laid out and wanted to only speak her truth. She was dropped. When she laid out that she only wanted to speak her truth, she was dropped as a client and told that Mr. Buzbee's firm was unwilling to represent her any longer. She felt as though once she had expressed that she was not a coachable victim, she was dismissed. This woman shared this information because she felt the conduct of Mr. Buzbee's firm, specifically to encourage lies, discredits those who are legitimate victims. This woman expressed that she fears retaliation from Mr. Buzbee's firm if she shares her true identity or signs her name to a declaration in this case at this time. Now, child, I find this very convenient. Okay, I'm not even going to hold y'all, lie to y'all, or pretend. I find this very convenient that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a woman that's stepping forward and saying, Mr. Buzbee coached me. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying that it's false. What I'm saying is false. What I'm saying is it's suspicious. We're going to take a pause for a cause just so that I can show y'all this portion of program is brought to y'all by That's What I Said. This hoodie right here says peace, unity, and freedom. There are other hoodies that they have with other statements on them. That's What I Said is here on YouTube. This is their channel. That's What I Said. Y'all can go check them out if you would like to find out about cryptocurrency and being financially literate when it comes to crypto exchanges and building and what to purchase and what to do. Head on over there to That's What I Said and tell them that Henny sent you. Okay, now back to what we was talking about. So yeah, just like there's things that are suspicious on the Buzbee side, there's things that are suspicious on this side. And I'm sorry, when it comes down to the Jigga Man's lawyers, all I'm going to say is, I don't think so. When it comes to thinking that they are being 100% and totally by the book, because we've already read that the whole state of Jersey was standing behind Jay-Z when he was trying to stop his baby mama, allegedly, from getting paternity and college support, you know, just going after the godmother and all of them and trying to keep them quiet. So I don't put nothing past people who got money, because they have a lot of influence to be able to do a lot of things. Okay, so this is Buzbee's response. All right, so he's also writing to Judge Annalisa Torres. Now, if you're wondering why Annalisa Torres is this judge on this, is because this is not the Diddy case. Diddy has a different lawyer that is on his case. This is the lawyer that is presiding over this case. So Buzbee responds and says, I write on behalf of my client, Jane Doe, which is the Jane Doe in the lawsuit that named Jay-Z after amending the lawsuit, I might add. All right, so I write on behalf of my client, Jane Doe. as well as on behalf of myself and my firm, in response to several recent improper communications directed to the court by counsel for the defendant, Sean Carter, in the above captioned action. Okay. On December 8th, 2024, my client filed an amended complaint naming Mr. Carter as an additional defendant in the matter. In conjunction with that filing, my firm filed a renewed motion for the plaintiff to proceed anonymously. Rather than merely oppose the motion, as would be expected and proper, defendant Carter filed the very next day his own motion to deny anonymity and or to dismiss under Rule 12b-1. It appears defendant Carter made that separate filing, which we believe to be procedurally improper and substantively deficient, to serve as the pretext for defense counsel to submit 2 letter briefs to the court on December 9th and 10th. These letter briefs are frankly nothing short of defamation, hiding behind the thinnest veneer of litigation privilege. What? I swear they be shady. They be super shady. Except for one sentence requesting an expedited hearing, the letter briefs have absolutely nothing to do with the only pending issue before the courts, namely whether my client should be allowed to continue to proceed anonymously. The letter otherwise irrelevant contentation the letter's otherwise irrelevant contentions that the amended complaints allegations are inflammatory and frivolous, as against counsel plea that Mr. Carter is entirely innocent and merely press release Mr. Carter plea that Mr. Carter is entirely innocent are merely press release dressed as legal findings. Counsel's December 10th, 2024 letter goes much further and entirely too far by accusing my firm and I of outright unethical behavior that never happened and which I would never countenance. To be clear, my firm and I categorically deny all of the baseless allegations levied by Mr. Carter and his counsel in these letters. We will respond in due course and due time through memoranda of the law and other appropriate means. To the legal issue at hand, as well as accusations raised by Mr. Carter and his counsel. We also will address verifiable inapproprieties committed by defense counsel, outright illegal conduct for which we have actual evidence rather than vague hearsay declarations. For the moment, we simply want to timely inform the court that such responses will be forthcoming. Anthony G. Buzbee. Now, they getting ready to engage in a mudslinging contest between the lawyers. I'm about to pull out my dictionary because they about to use they big SAT words and stuff like that. So we got to learn how to say these words. And we got to learn the meaning of the words too, because we're going to start using them. Yes, we are. I did not show you document 43 because I had to have document 43 redacted because it does show Jay-Z's information, which I did not want to put out there. But document 43 is basically the summons of civil action. And when we go over here to document number 45, it's an amendment to the same document. Again, this is redacted so that Mr. Carter, the Jigga Man, his address does not get leaked, at least not by our channel. Okay. Now, Buzbee has been responding. Like I said, I was going to keep it to the court docs, but I have decided that I am going to go ahead and read you a tweet that was made on December 10th by Buzbee, because Buzbee be tweeting. Okay. He be tweeting. Okay. And they beefing. I guess These litigations ain't fun. If you know, you know. Anyway, Buzbee's response back on December 10th to all of this was the New York Times contacted me to ask for my response to rapper Jay-Z's allegations that I tried to extort and blackmail him. My response is pretty straightforward. No one has made any threats. Jay-Z's assertions are bogus and laughable. Instead, our firm sent a standard demand letter seeking a mediation on behalf of a woman who alleges Jay-Z essayed her as a minor. The letter was vetted and approved by our client, whose preference was to attempt resolution short of filing a lawsuit. This approach is common in these types of cases. What you are seeing play out now is a coordinated and desperate effort to focus the public's attention on me personally to avoid attention on the allegations being made against my clients. The effort has included harassing my family and colleagues and even offering former clients money to sue me, which is illegal. When an alleged perpetrator behaves in this manner, wildly asserting that a basic demand letter is extortion and aggressively using media to attack the opposing lawyer while at the same time ignoring the allegations being made by the alleged victim, it reminds me of a famous line from Shakespeare. The lady doth protest too much, makes me think. We intend to address all of these issues with the court in due course. Let me be clear. We will not be bullied or intimidated by these shenanigans, and our client won't be silenced. Okay, so that's a tweet from him on December 10th. He has made, several tweets, and on December 8th, this was a tweet from him as well. Regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my client, Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed his frivolous case under pseudonym. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. It is pronounced pseudonym. Okay, under pseudonym. All right, that's anonymously. Okay, what he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter is not only suing me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve. As far as the allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court, not the media. Now, here comes the breaking news. Document number 46. But before we read document 46, let's watch this NBC News coverage that was taken because they interviewed the alleged victim, and we're going to find out some very interesting information about her in this video. So now let's go ahead and let's roll this beautiful being footage, y'all.
Advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did run your life.
So she's saying that she has learned to be a voice for herself, to advocate for herself, and never let the actions of other people dictate what you're going to do to stand up and protect yourself. But let's listen.
A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13 years old is speaking out to NBC News for the first time. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet, but it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is it's like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs.
Y'all heard her. This alleged victim is autistic. Now, I feel like of all the victims that they could have interviewed, used, like, this is not good. I hope people do not start bullying this woman because she is autistic, okay? We do not condone bullying over here. We definitely are not going to condone anybody saying anything slanderous because the woman is autistic.
She says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs's limo driver who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper because I have a religious background. So it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns raping her while a female celebrity watched.
JC comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
Let me just say this. Sexual assault on someone who has an impairment, there's a special place in hell for those types. I need to get my bell. Or a bell. ASAP.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with
Now, before we hear what the father had to say, for those of us who were questioning the parents and all of that, as we just heard, let me turn this down a bit because I'm talking. As we just heard, she called her dad, had her dad pick her up, and she's saying they rode home in silence. So there goes the answer to that.
NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind, he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. I have made some mistakes, she said. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me. The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the allegations are false. The accuser's attorney, Tony Buzbee, said, "Because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress." In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said, "This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory."
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
Yeah, I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out than I am of, being chastised by their fans.
All right, Chloe Malas joining us now live. Chloe, we just heard a very strongly worded statement from Jay-Z. What else are you hearing from him and his team?
Yes, so his attorney said that they're going to ask the court to, quote, dismiss this frivolous case. And also moments ago, we heard from Diddy's legal team, and I want to read you some of what they said. They said, quote, "This is the beginning of the end of this shameful money grab." And remember, he remains behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, and his criminal trial begins in May.
All right, very thorough reporting there. Chloe, thank you so much for.
Now, I am not surprised that Diddy's lawyer spoke out and said something. I said a minute ago, you know what? I'm not even going to get into what I said. Let's get into what Jay-Z's team had to say about this interview, because yes, of course, they know about this interview and they had a few things to say. So they said, to the Honorable Judge Torres. Now, if you're wondering why this is Honorable Annalisa Torres and not Diddy's lawyer, is because this case is separate from Diddy's case. Even though he's being named on a Sean Combs case, this is actually Jay-Z's case. You understand? Like, he's being named, so he's fighting against his name being in these court docs. So they have different lawyers. All right, so we write to the court on behalf of our client, Sean Carter, on the matter of extraordinary and grave importance for the integrity of the proceedings in the above captioned case. Today at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, NBC News reported on an interview that its reporters conducted with the anonymous plaintiff in this case. The interview outputs plaintiff's allegations for what they are, a sham. Now, I did not hear that interview lady say that it was a sham. I heard her say basically that, okay, even though her details may be murky, and I'm paraphrasing, that does not necessarily mean that she is lying. So they didn't call basic facts in her narrative, the who, what, when, where, and where are wrong. She claims her father picked her up after the assault. Her father denies that even happened. He didn't deny that happened. He's saying, I don't remember that. Like, I have a lot going on. I think I would remember that, but I don't remember that. So he's not saying it didn't happen. He's saying, I don't recall. Like, I don't know if that happened or not. And I'm quite sure if this girl was 13 years old and ran away to Manhattan, I'm sure a parent would remember that. But at the same time, if this is a child who's running away from home at 13, from Rochester to New York to Manhattan, okay, that doesn't scream to me that this is the first or the last time that she may have done things like this. On top of that, add to it that she's autistic. So you don't know what this parent's parenting journey has been. You don't know what stressors have been going on. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, she claims she spoke to Benji Madden at the party that night, but he was on tour in the Midwest at the time, forcing her to admit, I made some mistakes. I may have made some mistakes in identifying. I did not recall her saying she made some mistakes in identifying. Hold on. Let me go back to this video real quick. Because that's not what I heard her say. This is what she said.
I have made some mistakes, she said. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me.
That's what she said. She didn't say, I have made a mistake in identifying, and they quoted her. Y'all misquoting folks in court docs now. Is that what we doing? Because that ain't what she said. And let me just go ahead and go back to what the father said, because he didn't say it didn't happen. That's not what he said. Let's hear what the father said, because now I'm looking at what they writing, like what are we talking about here? Because he goes, they say she claims her father picked her up after the assault. Her own father denies that ever happened. Well, what did the father say?
Verify the claims. Quote, I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind, he said.
I guess you can interpret it that way, but that's not what he said. That's not what he said. Anyway, she claims the assault took place at an after party at Mr. Combs's home, but photos that night show Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter at Lotus nightclub for the after party. Now, you know what we didn't do with this? We did not read the article. We didn't read the article, okay? We didn't read the article, but the woman and her lawyer also acknowledged that there are some inconsistencies in her account in response to questions from NBC News. I have made some mistakes in recollections that night. The woman identified as Jane Doe in the lawsuit filed against Jay-Z and Diddy told NBC. The woman said she stands by her allegations overall. The inconsistencies in her account of the incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago do not necessarily mean the allegations are false. Okay, now this is, I guess, the photo of these two at Lotus nightclub. Well, now here comes the timeline into question. What time was this photograph taken? Was this photograph taken before? Was it taken immediately following the VMAs? And this young lady was being whisked away to the house? You know, I don't know. Like, this is child. Among the inconsistencies, the woman said that her father picked her up after the alleged sexual assault, but he says he doesn't recall that. The woman also claims she spoke to a celebrity at the after party where she said she was SA'd, but the celebrity said he was not in New York at the time. And images from that evening show Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs at a different location than the one that the woman described, although their whereabouts for the entire evening are unclear. So it sounds to me like NBC is saying, listen, there's some holes in her story, but we're not saying that she's lying. And yes, they were here at this club at this time, but we don't know where they were for the whole night. Isn't that what I just said? Now, I never read this article. I just watched the video, and now we're reading the article. This incident didn't happen, Carter told NBC News in a statement Friday, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press, he added, referring to one of the woman's attorneys, Tony Buzbee. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. Buzbee says he continues to vet her claims. Buzbee says Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another who vetted it prior to sending it to us, he told NBC in an email. Our client remains fiercely adamant that what she has stated is true to the best of her memory. We will continue to vet her claims and collect corroborating data to the extent it exists. Because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. I've never had a client suggest that before. In any event, he added, we always do our best to vet each claim made, just as we did in this case. This has been very extremely distressing for her, to the point she experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress. Okay. Let's see what this video says.
Legendary rapper Jay-Z is denying an allegation that he and Sean Diddy Combs raped a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, an anonymous accuser identified only as Jane Doe made the accusation in a civil lawsuit on Sunday. It alleges that the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards after party back in 2000. In a statement to NBC News, Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, called the accusation idiotic, adding, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever should commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" Attorneys representing Combs also dismissed the lawsuit, calling it a shameless publicity stunt. Combs is currently behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after federal prosecutors charged him in September with racketeering and sex trafficking.
NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos is here to break down some of this for us. Danny, good to have you with us. These are serious allegations. Tell us a little more about what accusations the accuser's making here that happened back in 2000, and just typically how a case like this then would play out in a...
Now, we can continue to go on with that, but honestly, I think all of us who are with common sense, because law seems to be common sense sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't, because we always know that even in this side of the spectrum, on the spectator civilian side, common sense is not always so common. We can come back to that video, but I would like to get through this information and paperwork, and we can watch the video breakdown of what his analogy is of it at the end. I promise y'all we'll do that, okay? So it goes on to say the allegations against Carter suggest a systemic shift, potentially linking the rap legend to the alleged behavior laid out in civil and criminal cases against Combs, who was in Brooklyn, in a Brooklyn jail awaiting trial for federal eggs trafficking and racketeering charges. Carter's attorney, Alex Spiro, said, "It is stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without proper vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story to the press. We are asking the court to dismiss this frivolous case today, and will take up the matters of additional discipline for Mr. Buzbee and all the lawyers that filed the complaint." They said further discipline, like they about to discipline. Child. Combs' attorney called the suit a shameful money grab. Buzbee has filed more than 20 suits against Combs. The lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Combs as a defendant, and it was refiled Sunday to name Carter as another defendant. NBC News traveled to Houston to interview the woman who declined to be identified at her attorney's office earlier this week. "You should always fight for what happened to you," she said. She said about why she is going public with her accusations. "You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what someone else did ruin or run your life. I just hope I can give others the strength to come forward like I came forward." So now they're saying that she is 38 years old now. And then they go on to, go into everything that happened in the video. So now let's get back to the paperwork that we were reading, because now we see that there are two statements in here that are like, that's a stretch. All right. So it says, Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter were at Lotus Night. Okay. When pressed, the plaintiff admitted she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. She admitted she has no single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. Okay, she told NBC that she never told anyone about the alleged assault or wrote it down in a diary. Even if somebody found out, who was going to believe me? I mean, it was the word of two celebrities against mine, she said. The years after were hard, she said. I got severely depressed. I withdrew completely. My grades started slipping and she dropped out of school. She experienced homelessness. She said at one point suffered a head injury. She and her father also said she was raped later in life. She now has two children, a son and a daughter. She served less than a year in the Army National Guard and left with the rank of private. She got her high school diploma and got my Christian counseling certificate so that I can help people who have gone through what I've gone through, she said. She also said she has her applied behavior analysis certificate so she can help people with autism, which she says she has. There are so little resources to moms that don't have proper amount of income, she said. So this seems to me like she is high functioning autism. That's what she has, is high functioning autism. Okay, good for her with all of those accomplishments. Okay, she also said that. Reaction was swift in the days since the woman went public with her allegations against Carter. The rapper released statements calling her claims idiotic and heinous in nature and sharply criticizing her attorney. Okay, there are some inconsistencies in her story about that night. Her father told NBC that he does not recall picking her up after the alleged attack, casting doubt on a key detail in her lawsuit. According to their address at the time, her father would have driven more than 5 hours from their home to pick her up. I feel like I would remember that, but I don't. And we heard him say that. The woman's father's account in a follow-up interview on Friday, the woman said she stood by her claim that he had picked her up and that it's possible he had misremembered. There's a lot of things and this stuff that we argue about consistently. Something he said, this is and this is stuff we argue about consistently. Something he said or did back in New York around that time period. Something he said or did back in New York at that time period, he just doesn't remember, she said. It's actually caused a lot of fights sometimes in the household regarding her father's recollections. Buzbee told NBC News, we agree he states he doesn't remember. His daughter explains that he was in no state to remember during that point in time due to personal issues he was having then. We are talking about a time frame more than 24 years ago. Okay. The woman told NBC News she spoke with musician Benji Madden at the after party, but it was later just discovered that he was not there at the time. Okay. And her response to that was, honestly, what's clearest is what happened to me and the route that I took to what happened to me. Not all of the faces there are clear, the woman said on Friday, said in a Friday follow-up interview. So I've made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake in identifying. Okay, now she did say that. So then I take back what I said, because this is why I came back to read what was said, because everything that they write doesn't always go in the video. So I want to fact check myself, because I don't like misspeaking. I did misspeak going off of the video, but I'm going to read as well. We're going to continue to read a little bit, then go back into that statement that they put out, okay? The woman could not provide further information about the after party she said she attended. Professional images reviewed by NBC News shows Coleman Carter were among the celebrities who attended the BMA after party at the Lotus nightclub in New York City. It is not clear what time those images were taken or if Combs and Carter attended any of those after parties. The building that housed Lotus, now closed, does not match the description of the house the woman described in the lawsuit and interview. I didn't know exactly where we were going or even how long it took, the woman said. When asked Tuesday where she thought she was taken that night, she added that she guessed about the length of time and trip, the time that the trip had taken in the lawsuit. So clearly the lawyers didn't just watch the video, they read. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people are only going to watch that video. I'm showing you in real time why it's important to not just watch the video, but read the article underneath some of these news videos that you're watching, and not even always take what they're showing you at face value, because as you're seeing right now in real time, we're reading it, and this is where the lawyer is picking things apart. So you see what happened to me earlier? I watched the video, I jumped to conclusions from watching the video, but as I'm reading the article, I'm starting to see where his lawyers are picking certain things apart and putting it into the lawsuit, the things that are pertinent to their argument, I should say. Okay. So she did say that she didn't know exactly where she had gone or how long it took to get there, and that she guessed about the length of time that the trip had taken in the lawsuit. Now, I would assume that you would guess how long the time took after 24 years. That's a long time. All right. Buzbee said, we have attempted to confirm the correct location. We have never suggested the location was the Lotus nightclub. Our client has been very specific and detailed about the description of the venue she says she was taken to, and she has never stated that it was Lotus Club. Okay. He added, we won't speculate on whether there was an after party, because again, she doesn't know that. Also, among the woman's allegations that could not be corroborated is that she made it to New York City, is how she made it to New York City that night. One of her attorneys provided NBC News with the name and date of birth of the friend she said drove her, who would have been 20 at the time. That person appears to have passed on since then. NBC News attempts to reach the person's relatives were unsuccessful. So now we have all of the facts because we've read through the article, guys. So I have to take back what I said because they are actually quoting properly from the news article and not the news video. Okay. All right. These stunning revelations make clear that the complaint filed by plaintiff's attorney, Anthony Buzbee, therefore have no factual basis whatsoever. Even Mr. Buzbee is walking back the complaint he put his name to, excusing these glaring inconsistencies by pointing the finger at the case being referred by another firm who allegedly vetted the story before sending to them. The heinous allegations against Mr. Carter are patently false. Okay. The complaint filed by the plaintiff's attorney, Anthony Buzbee, therefore have no factual basing whatsoever. The heinous accusations against Mr. Carter are patently false. They repeated themselves. In light of those developments, it is now clear that Mr. Buzbee signed the complaints and other filings in this case in violation of Federal Rule and Civil Procedure 11. Under that rule, an attorney who signs a document assumes the affidavit duty to conduct a reasonable inquiry into the facts and the law before filing. In addition, attorneys who learn after filing a complaint that the factual assertions are false must immediately withdraw the claims. Okay. Oh, it says, see City of Yonkers versus Otis Elevator Company. Hey, shout out to Yonkers. All right. Given today's revelations, Mr. Buzbee most certainly failed to undertake reasonable inquiry into the fact before filing the complaint. He should never have brought the claims. See Fox versus Voucher. Okay. He should have never brought the claims. Affirming sanctions orders where the plaintiff's complaint was entirely frivolous and was made part of a conscious effort to harass the defendant. At minimum, he should withdraw from them now. Allowing these claims to remain pending even a moment longer not only harms Mr. Carter, his family, his business, his employees, and his legacy, it also impairs the integrity of the judicial system, thwart the pursuit of justice, and silences the voices of true victims. So now they're saying, oh, judge, nope, see, all of this is bogus. You need to take this down now, because the longer you let it sit up, it's not just going to harm my client, it's going to harm the justice system. You have to do this in the name of justice. You must take this down now. You must take it down. Any glasses in the chat if y'all think that they're going to take it down. Furthermore, it appears that Mr. Buzbee has attempted to circumvent the authority of this court to enforce Rule 11 and associate obligations by declining to seek admissions to this court before signing pleadings and other documents. Mr. Buzbee is not licensed to practice law in this court, and he has not sought, let alone obtained, admission. So he hasn't put in no paperwork, and he's not allowed to practice law in New York. Now, if you followed any of the Blueface Chrisean cases, then you know that Chrisean had a lawyer that came out and covered her Oklahoma case that came from the state of Florida. And that lawyer had to find a lawyer in the state of Oklahoma that would take him underneath their firm, and they would basically act as co-counsel with him, so to speak. And he had to sign paperwork to be able to temporarily practice law in the state of Oklahoma. So he's saying that Buzbee hasn't done any of those things, so therefore he shouldn't even be allowed to be filing anything in these courts. Yet in the nearly 8 weeks since he initiated these proceedings, Buzbee has filed a complaint in this matter that was signed solely by him using an S signature, signed the amended complaint alongside other counsel that added Mr. Carter as a defendant, and noticed a motion for the plaintiff to proceed anonymously, accompanied by a supporting brief and declaration, once again signed only by him. Most recently, on December 10th of 2024, Mr. Buzbee filed a letter, which he also signed alone. So they're basically saying because he's signing all of this paperwork alone and he's a Texas lawyer, he has no business doing any of this in the state of New York because he has not asked permission to practice law in the state of New York. So they are really coming for the gusto. Mr. Buzbee's failure to obtain admission to the bar of this court is a transparent attempt to circumvent the basic requirements of Rule 11 and the rules of professional conduct. Admission subjects an attorney to the jurisdiction of the court and to sanctions for signing pleadings that are not grounded in the fact of the law. Mr. Buzbee thus appears to have strategically declined to seek admission in order to avoid sanctions from the for a complaint that he knew had no factual basis. Given these facts, Mr. Carter intends to file immediately a motion to strike the First Amendment complaint under Rule 11C2 and 12F. He respectfully requests that the court shorten the filing deadline for the motion from 21 days to 1 day from the date of service in light of today's stunning public disclosure and the severe ongoing harm that Mr. Carter's reputation. Okay. So now here they have their exhibits. This is the NBC news article. See, I didn't scroll down. I haven't read that portion of the paperwork. So they did cite the news article as to where they got this information from. Okay. So Mr. Buzbee that as far as I have seen, has not said anything. But I know that a lot of y'all have heard about the case. This is the case. I did read this in my Jay-Z. You'll see there's a video on my channel that has Jay-Z and Diddy on the cover. That's the thumbnail. That's the video that you want to go and watch, because that video has me reading this whole, well, not the whole thing, because this thing right here is 235 pages long. Baby, I'm not about to sit up here and read 235 pages to y'all. I love y'all. We going to get to the actuals, and we going to skip around, and we going to read the things that are pertinent to us. You understand? We're not going to go through all of this. Do you see all of this? Do you see the exhibits that are put in here? I'm not reading through all of this. No, heck no, unless we have to. But anyway, this is the case that was filed as a John Doe by Jay-Z. This is the Jay-Z case. A lot of people did not put that together. Some people did, a lot of people did not. But this is the John Doe case against Buzbee, is the Jay-Z lawsuit. And when this lawsuit first came out, Buzbee did have something to say about that, okay? Because this suit was back in November, Let me find the tweet because he's a tweeter. Buzbee is a tweeter. Hold on, y'all. Because I had it, and yes, you see him right. He's a Trumper. He is a Trumper, and yes, he has definitely. If you have not checked out his Twitter, I suggest you do. But he did make a tweet regarding going up against people with power. Okay, and that is the tweet that I'm looking for because that tweet was made shortly after that Jay-Z lawsuit was filed against him. So I'm trying to find that. We can read this in the meantime. It says investigators from New York called many of our law firm's current and former clients. What they did not anticipate was one of the clients decided to record the conversation. It's shocking and illegal. Here is a portion taken from the transcript. Investigator, in a couple of days or maybe by next week, anyone Googling Buzbee and his company, his practice, are going into litigation, okay? What we're trying to do is we are trying to put this thing together for the company that we are working for. We could get you paid. You could get money right soon, you know. We gave this kid $1,000 to start yesterday just to get him on the right path. At the end of the day, this is going to go through the courts. Buzbee is getting sued. These guys are on tape offering to pay clients to sue our law firm. That is a crime. Now, I'm waiting for him. Now, he tweeted that on December 10th, okay? I'm waiting for him to come out. Here it is. This is from November 18th. We're going to read that. I'm waiting for him to come out with that audio to that. Okay. Now, this was what he filed back on November 18th of this year. Okay. It says, we won't allow the powerful and their high dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence SA survivors. It has been reported that a lawsuit has been filed against my firm claiming extortion, which is that John Doe case, right? The lawyers that filed it also immediately called TMZ in an apparent effort to silence those who allege SA. Here is the deal. The case filed against my firm is not only without legal merit, it is laughable. Here is why. On behalf of two clients who allege SA, we sent a standard demand letter to a New York lawyer that we know represents an alleged perpetrator and potential defendant. Did y'all hear that? On behalf of two clients who allege SA, we sent a standard demand letter to a New York lawyer that we know represents the alleged perpetrator and potential defendant. Two. So there's one more case that he has not brought into the light. So Buzbee ain't done, y'all. He is not done. All right. The letters were sent seeking a confidential mediation in lieu of filing a lawsuit. No amount of money was included in the demand letters. No threats were made. The demand letters sent are no different than the ones routinely sent by lawyers across the country in all types of cases. It is obvious that the frivolous lawsuit filed against my firm is an aggressive attempt to intimidate or silence me and ultimately my clients, plural, not singular. That effort is a gross miscalculation. I am a U.S. Marine. I won't be silenced or intimidated. Neither will my clients. Since our professional efforts at resolution obviously have failed, we will instead disclose the demand letters we sent at the time we filed suit. Abuse of the legal system unfortunately runs rampant. The lawsuit filed against my firm is a prime example of that. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. I have Didn't Trump say that? Anyway, it's true though. I have confidence that with full public disclosure, all of this will sort itself out. Tony Buzbee. Now, I have brought y'all all of the information in the back and forth between these two. I have even given you the video. I have read the news article that has gone out with the video about the alleged victim and her statements that she made to NBC News. Child, we are just getting started, okay? Because clearly, like I had told y'all in the other Jay-Z video that I did with Diddy on the cover, let me go pull that up for y'all real quick so that y'all can see what I'm talking about. And I might just link it because that video, let's go ahead and let's share. That video is where I talk about some of this stuff already. That's why I'm not getting too in depth with it. So boom, this is it right here. Jay-Z named in Diddy SA case. Victim claims he SA'd her and watched as Diddy assaulted her as well. So this video is where I broke a lot of things down. You can go and you can watch that video. Matter of fact, while we're here, let me go ahead. Let me do this, and then let me do this, and then let me come back over here and let me do this, and then let me do this. Oh, I can't do that just yet. Okay, so I will be sure to add that into the description box below. But go check out that case because that is how all of this started, y'all. That's how all of this started. I feel like this is going to get real ugly, real nasty, real quick. And this is just the beginning, like I said. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. I will be following this Jay-Z Buzbee stuff. I will also give y'all some Diddy updates. But to be honest with you, I have not followed. I have all of them, but I have not followed up with reading all of the Buzbee lawsuits because, like I told you in the last video where we spoke about Buzbee, anybody that has a true case and is being represented by him, they're going for his reputation right now. And Jay-Z is looking to take him all the way down. I feel like Jay-Z is looking to take him down not only for himself, but for his friend Diddy. I do feel like some of these victims need to just come out and just say their names and be done with it and get it over with, because moving with this lawyer is going to give you an overcast. People are going to look at your story side-eye because, you know, it's a lot of shady business going on here. And it's not just on Buzbee's behalf. It's all of these celebrities. Like, we've heard for years that there's been a lot of treacherous, tumultuous, and diabolical stuff that has been going on. And people are starting to come out and mention things. But it's time to name names. Like, stop with all of this celebrity A and B and John Doe this one and Jane Doe that one. Just put the name out there and be done and over with, because we've already accepted, or at least I've already accepted the fact that the 90s was a ish show. Okay, it was a show. Okay, and everybody that we have known and come to love has done some out here in these streets. And if they are out here hurting people, essaying people, especially people who are following them under the guise of being a fan, who are you know, even just groupies. Like, groupies do not deserve to be essayed. They do not deserve to be, okay? Groupies are fans too. I'm not a groupie. I've never been a groupie though. Never that. I'm just saying. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. And again, be sure to like the video, share the video, and if you're new here, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace, y'all. Stop. Where you going? Remember I said we was going to sit back and listen to the legal analysis from the NBC legal guy? Well, we still got to do that. We deal with the paperwork, but I want to hear what they got to say, don't you? Okay, well, sit back down and relax, because we not done yet. We almost done, but we not done. Let's hear what he got to say.
Combs is currently behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after federal prosecutors charged him in September with racketeering and sex trafficking.
NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos is here to break down some of this for us. Danny, good to have you with us. These are serious allegations. Tell us a little more about what accusations the...
Yes, Danny. Thank you. Thank you for your analysis on the situation, because we trying to understand what's going on, because we the peoples, I mean, we got our own theory. Let's hear what he got to say.
Accusers making here that happened back in 2000, and just typically how a case like this then would play out in a civil court proceeding.
According to the amended complaint, and when I file amended complaints, it's because new information has come up. Maybe there are new defendants and new claims, and that's sort of what's happening here, but I'll explain the difference. This amended complaint alleges that this 13-year-old plaintiff, when she was 13, wanted to go to the VMA Awards, couldn't get in. A limo driver says, come on in, and I'm paraphrasing, you look like you're Diddy's type or something like that. She gets in, she goes to the party, and at the party, she is assaulted. Originally, she had alleged, obviously, Diddy or Combs. Now, there isn't really a new defendant in Jay-Z. What the complaint alleges is that somebody that they had originally referred to as, say, Celebrity A, now they're naming as Jay-Z.
And that would be accurate, because that's exactly what happened. She only named Combs at first, and now she came back and she's naming the Jigga Man.
And so they allege that Jay-Z and Combs were involved in the assault of this 13-year-old plaintiff. So Jay-Z was technically already in the complaint. He just wasn't identified.
Exactly.
Walk us through that point that was in Jay-Z's statement there about changing the type of lawsuit here, civil versus criminal.
So Jay-Z essentially is saying, hey, if you're going to bring this case, this sounds like a criminal complaint. I dare you basically to go file a criminal complaint. And what's interesting, too, is that according to the complaint, the plaintiffs explained the reason that they decided to name Jay-Z was allegedly Jay-Z had pushed back on the filing of this complaint. So it's almost like a kind of, hey, if you're going to push us, we're going to name you in this complaint instead of just saying that you're Celebrity A. That's a little bit problematic, because if he wasn't a party originally, if he was just Celebrity A, and now the only difference is because Jay-Z pushed back, it raises a question as to what exactly Jay-Z did as a party, but that will all be worked out in discovery.
And talk about...
Here's the thing, though. I mean, there's been amendments to the stuff that happened. Like, okay, there was the mention of her, I guess, being pushed against the wall or something like that. Like, some of the details there's been added to. There have been additions to the details. Beep. But for the most part, the story has stayed the same. The only difference is that Celebrity A is now named to be Sean Carter. So it's not like her story changed completely and now it's a whole different story and he's being added in. It wasn't in there before. But this is what I'm saying. Like, to the average person, this is looking like, Now, I will say this. The John Doe case is the case that Jay-Z put out there against Buzbee. Now, if you go back and listen to the paperwork or review all of this paperwork, watch the videos and all of that, you will see that they are talking about this John Doe case when they begin to talk about how, the lawsuit was playing out and how it came to be. So, yeah, this is definitely looking like a tit for tat. And I told y'all, this Buzbee stuff, I don't know. If Buzbee loses this case against Jay-Z, if Jay-Z is actually able to present him as a fraud and his case as a fraud, one case will be considered fruit of the same poisonous tree, and it's going to make all these other victims, whether they're real victims or not, all their cases are going to come underneath public scrutiny, because we're all going to be side-eyeing. I mean, we're already side-eyeing those other cases. I'm not side-eyeing the first 9, 10 complaints, 11 complaints that came out. It's these John and Jane Doe cases from Buzbee's office. They all read the same. They all kind of say the same thing. And I mean, it shows a pattern of behavior, yes, when a person is doing this, but it's starting to paint Diddy as like a serial offender. But the stories in themselves, like the young lady who, it sounded like an action movie, like oh, you know, Diddy and his security, they assaulted me. And then when we were outside, Diddy said something about Tupac, and the same person who assaulted me was now protecting me and put me behind him. And I charged after Diddy and kicked him in the back and had him on the stairs and raised my poker and was going to bring it down to him. And after all of this, the police didn't believe me. So I went back to the scene of the crime where I was attacked at. And one of the guys who attacked me said that he would leave me there to rest and I could leave in the morning. And that stuff like that makes people be like, but you don't want to call somebody a liar until you have all facts. But anyway, let's listen a little bit more and then we'll be done.
What does happen next then with all this?
Well, when you file a civil complaint in federal court, the next steps are very clearly laid out in procedure, but they're not that exciting. The court will get together, the parties get together, they figure out a discovery plan, and then months out, the parties start exchanging discovery, paperwork, documents, and then months beyond that, they start having depositions. But in the civil complaint context, the opening salvo is the filing of the pleading. And then after that, it's mostly quiet until we get to depositions, which are usually not in the public. And then years from now, in federal court, maybe a year and a half, then you get to trial.
Tonight.
And that would be a very accurate depiction of how federal court works. Because at the end of the day, people expect federal court to work as the courts do at local level. But when someone close to me had to deal with the feds, one of the things that his attorney said to us was this could stretch out for years because the feds do not work like the state and local levels of government do, because at the end of the day, they play the long game. So they're not overwhelmed and jam-packed where they've got to hurry up and push cases through. So you could be sitting there for a year or two waiting for your case to come to a conclusion because it's the feds. They take their time with everything. And I'm speaking from like firsthand personal account information. Like they take forever. So we have no idea what's really going to happen with all of this. As we can see, there's definitely pushes to have this case concluded. But I wanted to hear what the NBC legal analysis had to say to give us a little bit more insight. But he basically has said everything that, I mean, I've kind of been saying up here, kind of, sort of. I mean, he's been saying the stuff that all of us have been kind of already saying. And a lot of us do not have any law degrees, so it is what it is. But thank you for sticking around for the bonus video, and I'll see y'all later. Peace, y'all.